Let's go ahead, children. In this part, let's find out what was the daring thought of Smita and whether she was able to fulfill her wish. So the concert was over and everybody was heading towards the exit. But Smita wriggled her way towards the stage. There she found Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha were having a discussion with a group of people. She approaches Pandit Ravi Shankar and she bursts out. Now let's read further and let's understand what happens next. Yes, he asked questioningly but kindly. So Pandit Ravi Shankar asks Smita very kindly that what was the matter. And her story came pouring out, the story of a brother who lay sick at home and of how he longed to hear him and the Ustad play. So she started telling her story. Pouring out means to express very freely. And Smita also expressed her story freely to Pandit Ravi Shankar. The story of her brother, the story of Anand, who was on his deathbed, who was suffering with cancer, and how he longed, how Anand longed, how he was having a desire to listen to Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha. She told everything to Pandit Ravi Shankar. Will you come to Aunt Sushila's house and play for him? She asked at the end breathlessly. And after telling Pandit Ravi Shankar everything, in the end, she was breathless. She was very nervous. And very nervously, she asked a question to Pandit Ravi Shankar whether he would come to Aunt Sushila's house and perform for Anand. Because Anand was unable to come to the concert due to his deteriorating health. Please, she begged, please come, and she requested Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha that you please come to Aunt Sushila's house and perform for Anand. Little girl, said the mustachioed man who had made the long speech. Pandit ji is a busy man. You must not bother him with such requests. And the mustachioed man who had delivered a boring speech told Smita that she should not bother, she should not worry Panditji because he is very busy man. He is such a renowned personality that he has prior commitments. So she should not bother Pandit Ravi Shankar with such requests. But Pandit Ravi Shankar smiled and motioned him to be quiet. But Pandit Ravi Shankar just told uh, the mustachioed man to be quiet. He turned to Ustad Sahib and said, what shall we do, Ustad Sahib? And Pandit Ravi Shankar asked that what should be done, what they should do in this case. The Ustad moved the wad of pan from one cheek to another. Wad means a small mass or ball of soft material. So when you chew the pan, it converts into a wad. So from one cheek, he just moved the wad to the another. Tomorrow morning, we perform for the boy. Yes, he said. And he told, Ustad Sahib told to Pandit Ravi Shankar that tomorrow morning we are going to perform for Anand. Yes, Panditji replied. It's settled then. And Panditji told Smita that this is settled now. It is fixed. It is decided that tomorrow morning that is Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Sahib, they would perform for Anand. It was a very excited Smita who came home late that night. Anand was awake. Anand did not sleep. His condition was so bad, but he wanted a feedback from Smita that how was the concert, and therefore he was awake, breathing the oxygen from the cylinder. Did you hear him? He whispered, and he said very quietly to Smita whether she had heard Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha. I did, she replied, and I spoke to him, and he will Come tomorrow morning with the tabla ustad and they will play for you. So, and she told Anand that Anand, tomorrow morning they both are going to come. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Sahib are going to come and they are going to perform for you. We have a question here. What was Smita's plan? So Smita's plan was to invite Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha to Aunt Sushila's house so that they could perform for Anand, who was very much uh, yearning to listen to both of them. So let's move further. And the following morning, Aunt Sushila's neighbors saw two men get out of a taxi which pulled up outside their block. So we know, children, that in an area, the area is divided into blocks. So Aunt Sushila's neighbors, they were very surprised to see these two men, Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha, to come out of their taxi, which had pulled up outside their block. Pulled up means, regarding a vehicle, it means to come to a halt. They could not believe their eyes. They were wondering, they were so surprised. Is it? It's not possible, they said. And they said that this is just not possible, that these two music maestros, they are coming to Aunt Sushila's house to perform for Anand. Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha went up the wooden staircase and knocked softly on the door of Aunt Sushila's apartment. They went in, sat down on the divan by the window and played for the boy. You can just see over here in this image that the boy is lying on his bed, and you can also see Ustad Allah Rakha and Pandit Ravi Shankar performing. So they went in, sat down on the divan by the window and played for the boy, played for Anand, surrounding him with a great and beautiful happiness. Now, when the music was played by both of them, it surrounded Anand with great and beautiful happiness. He was extremely happy as life went out of him gently, very gently. And listening to this beautiful music, which gave him immense pleasure, which gave him immense happiness, he died. Anand died. Life went out of him very gently, and um, he died very peacefully. That is what is this last line telling us. That is, life went out of him very gently, very gently. So I hope, children, the lesson is clear to you. It has a very emotional end, but it tells us about the sister's love for his brother and how she makes a very sincere effort in order to fulfill the last wish of his brother. Now we have two questions here. Why were the neighbors surprised? The neighbors were surprised to see Pandit Ravi Shankar and Ustad Allah Rakha, the two music maestros, to come to Aunt Sushila's house. Okay, so that is the answer for this question. We have one more question here. Music can calm the minds. What is your opinion about it? Definitely, music uh, gives, it definitely calms your mind, and it gives you mental peace, right? So share with your partner. So you can just share your opinion also, and you can write down over here, or you can write it in your notebook. I hope, children, that the lesson is clear to you. It is a wonderful lesson. Read the lesson. On Saturday we would go ahead with the English workshop. Till then, take care of yourselves. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.